dream big and turn lessons into blessings. I think it's important for you to take every L on the chin and turn it into a positive and make it a blessing. I'm just so happy and grateful and graceful that I was able to experience everything in life that I have experienced, from the negative to the positive, because it has shaped me into the woman that I am today.
The venue was draped in pink. The decorations were pink. Even the signs were pink. Everything about it had been carefully put together, branded, and sold to the public as the greatest Barbie-themed celebration ever staged. And Angel Reese, the woman who calls herself the Chi Barbie, the woman who had built her entire public image around that nickname, was the main attraction. She was the headline guest, the face of the entire weekend. And then the crowd was supposed to arrive. Except they didn't.
You guys will not believe this. In case you did not know, and look, I totally forgive you if you didn't, there's a thing called Barbie Fest. You may be like, what? Excuse me, Rhodes? Barbie Fest, which is like a Comic-Con for Barbie fans. Yeah. So they had a number of guest speakers at Barbie Fest, right? Serena Williams, Angel Reese was there. That's right. In what is now being called a complete fiasco, they're calling it Barbie Dream Fest, Barbie Nightmare Fest.
The Barbie Dream Fest in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, was meant to be Angel Reese's moment in the spotlight. And if you look closely enough at the photos, you can almost imagine where the audience was supposed to be standing. To be fair, none of this falls on Angel Reese herself. She showed up. She brought the energy. She walked out on that stage wearing a hot pink tank and skirt set and delivered her panel. She looked the part. She always looks the part. That part is not up for debate. What is up for debate is the crowd, or more honestly, the fact that there barely was one.
This was a disaster. This was a disaster. I almost feel bad with how much of a disaster this was. Now, over this weekend, there was this thing called Barbie Dream Fest. Angel Reese was invited. Serena Williams was invited. And when I tell you that not even 15 people showed up, not even 15 people showed up. When I tell you this was empty, well, I'm doing the word empty a massive disservice. It was less than empty.
Because here is what had been promised to the public. The very first official Barbie fan festival in the brand's 67-year history. A 3-day immersive experience held at the Broward County Convention Center. An unforgettable lineup, an interactive dream house, a retro roller disco, a glam bar, a perfectly pink marketplace, star-studded panels, and right at the center of all of it, Angel Reese, the Chi Barbie herself, sharing the stage with Serena Williams, who was being honored with the inaugural Barbie Dreamfest Icon Award. On paper, it sounded like a weekend that would sell out in hours. In reality, it looked like a small group of very disappointed people scattered inside a very large, mostly empty building.
This right here is the Barbie Dream Fest, or Barbie Nightmare Fest, because people paid close to $1,000 to go here, counting hotels, and $250 tickets. And this is what they were met with. Now, I'm not a Barbie fan, okay, but I am familiar with Barbie because of the movie. I have 2 girls. This right here is supposed to be the Barbie Dream House. If this is all that Barbie could dream up, I would question her capacity for imagination.
Now, let's talk about what actually happened inside that convention center, because the reactions that spread across social media said everything the official press release chose to leave out. Within hours of the first day, the internet was already talking. The Barbie subreddit, X, and TikTok were flooded with clips, photos, and strong opinions from people who had paid anywhere from $33 to $438 to be there. One attendee, who had spent close to $1,000 on a premium pink pass and hotel accommodations, described the whole experience as disorganized and deeply disappointing. The swag bag that had been promised turned out to be a single Barbie-branded hand sanitizer. The life-size dream house was a cardboard backdrop propped up next to a vintage pink VW van. The retro roller disco was a small, roped-off section on the convention floor with a sign that simply read roller disco. No music, no lights, no atmosphere. On the second day, they added a tiny disco ball. Progress, apparently. One attendee said it plainly. The first thing I noticed, there's a lot of empty space. There's so much open, empty space. Another person had driven 4 hours and paid $69 for the privilege of standing in that same empty space. One user wrote that they spent the afternoon comforting mothers who had bought 3-day passes, flown in from different states, booked hotels and rental cars, only to be let down by what was actually in front of them. The internet landed on a name for it almost immediately: Barbie Nightmare Fest. People compared it to Fire Festival. Others compared it to the Willy Wonka chocolate experience, the one that became a worldwide laughingstock for exactly the same reasons. Big promises, big marketing, and a reality that made you want to ask for your money back.
Yes, these were the celebrities that were supposed to show up and sign: Serena Williams, Angel Reese, and everybody else here. So this actually might be the new event that we compare other events to, because this is worse than the Willy Wonka experience. We need to bring back small batch events, because these large ones that are happening at expo centers, these are greedy, okay? They are maximizing the amount of tickets they can sell, and they're always underwhelming, and there's so much negative space.
And this is where the story gets really interesting, because Angel Reese did not organize this event. She did not handle the logistics. She did not build the roller disco, or stock the swag bags, or design the cardboard dream house. Mattel and their event partner, Mischief Management, put this together. That responsibility sits squarely with them. And to be clear, it absolutely does. But let's not walk past the bigger story that is sitting right in the middle of all of this. Angel Reese has spent 2 years, 2 full years, carefully building a public image around the idea that she is a cultural force, that she is the one moving the needle, that people show up because of her, that she is part of the reason women's basketball is even in the conversation right now. She has said it in interviews. She has said it on her podcast. She has put it on record more than once that the attention women's sports has been getting is not because of just one person, it is because of her too. She has made that argument loudly, and she has made it consistently. And now, the first major event where she is the marquee name, the featured speaker, the most prominent guest, the space around her is half empty. The universe has a way of doing that.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that, because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game.
And here's the thing. This is not the first time the numbers have told this exact same story. Cast your mind back to May of 2025. The Chicago Sky traveled to LSU, Angel Reese's old stomping ground, the school that made her a household name, the campus where she won a national championship with confetti raining down around her for a preseason exhibition game. This was supposed to be her homecoming, her moment, the one where the Bayou Barbie walks back into that building and the crowd loses its mind. The Pete Maravich Assembly Center holds 13,215 fans. That night, 6,373 showed up, less than half capacity. The upper bowl never even opened because they could not fill the lower one. The arena sat wide and quiet and largely empty, the very same building where she once danced with a trophy in her hands. Tickets had been discounted. Some were reportedly as cheap as $15, and still the seats stayed empty. Entire sections untouched. Rows and rows of nothing where a roaring homecoming crowd was supposed to be. Social media got hold of those images and did not let go. LSU, I'm calling y'all out. Angel Reese is back home, and that should have been a sold-out arena. No excuses, one user wrote. Others said they were genuinely shocked the turnout was that low. But shock and reality are two very different things. The reality was right there in every photograph. The reality was sitting in every empty seat. Now, let's talk about what was happening at the exact same time. 2 days later, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever traveled to Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, Clark's old college gym, for their own preseason exhibition game. Tickets went on sale. They sold out in 24 minutes. The average resale price climbed to $440, higher than any of Clark's previous games at Iowa or with the Fever. Fans were filling the arena an hour and a half before tip-off. The crowd was so deep and so loud that when Clark hit her first three-pointer of the game, the decibel readers registered 117. 117 dB. That is the sound of a jet engine preparing for takeoff. That is the sound of a building packed with people who came specifically to see one player. And that player delivered on every single expectation before the first quarter was even over. Clark said afterward, "I didn't anticipate anything less. That's precisely what I would have expected from them." She was right, because this is simply what happens when Caitlin Clark walks into a building.
Same weekend.
Same type of event. One sold out in 24 minutes. The other could not fill the bottom bowl at $15 a ticket. You cannot look at those two facts side by side and pretend there is nothing to talk about.
Team USA comes back the other way, looking to punish. Caitlin Clark pulls up from deep. And those are the Caitlin Clark logo threes we're used to seeing when she's in rhythm.
And the contrast has only grown sharper since then. While the Barbie Dreamfest was playing out in Fort Lauderdale, Caitlin Clark had spent the week before doing something else entirely. She was playing for Team USA in a FIBA qualifying tournament in Puerto Rico, coming off the bench in an international qualifying tournament that most casual American sports fans would never have sought out on their own. And she drew more viewers for that debut than the unrivaled championship game, the biggest broadcast in that entire league's history. This is not a small gap. This is not even a close comparison. That same week, Angel Reese was speaking in front of a disappointingly thin crowd at a convention that the internet was already comparing to Fyre Festival. Caitlin Clark was breaking FIBA records and putting up television numbers that made every executive in women's basketball stop what they were doing and take notice. One player fills arenas, packs stadiums, and breaks viewership records wherever she goes. The other could not fill a convention center where the tickets had already been sold, and the crowd was already supposed to be there waiting for her.
If Caitlin Clark spoke at an event, we've seen events she speaks at, packed houses. Packed houses. Serena Williams, nobody showed up for her either. Look at this.
Yes.
We paid $250 per pass. Barbie Dreamfest is a nightmare. Look at this. I mean,
Now, guys.
that's wild. Look at this, folks. I mean, what is happening? Look.
Here is a number that puts everything into perspective. For the 2026 WNBA season, 39 of the Indiana Fever's 44 regular season games will be played in NBA-sized arenas. 39 games. Teams across the league, the Atlanta Dream, the Chicago Sky, the Connecticut Sun, the Dallas Wings, the Los Angeles Sparks, are voluntarily leaving their home venues and moving into much larger buildings, specifically because of the demand to watch Caitlin Clark play. The Chicago Sky are moving their Fever matchup to the United Center, which holds 23,500 fans. The highest listed resale ticket for that game was reportedly over $7,000. The Atlanta Dream moved a game to State Farm Arena, with resale tickets listed at over $3,000 for a regular season WNBA game. When Caitlin Clark is coming to town, the problem is never having too much space. The problem is always that there is not enough. Now contrast that with Barbie Dreamfest, where the whole thing was contained to one single building. The tickets had already been sold. The crowd was already supposed to be standing there, and people still found themselves surrounded by too much empty space.